Hello, are we all there?
Yeah, we keep us.
We are here.
Yes, we are here.
All right, thank you. So, starting with the introduction to web design and development. So here, what I'm going to do is I want to help and differentiate between website design and development. That is very important. And I'm going to start by explaining who a web designer is, because actually a web designer is different from a web developer. A web designer is a person that makes the website to look good. Like one of us have said, talking about the aesthetics of the website, the appearance, making it to look attractive. And their main focus is on the beautification and the usability of the website. So they ensure that what the users of the websites are seeing is appealing to the eyes. All right. So these are the functions of a web designer. And because they are focusing on the beautification, the aesthetics of the website, their responsibility is to focus on the style and the overall feel of the website. I hope we are together.
Yeah, sir.
All right. In addition to that, we have types of web designers. Majorly, we have three types of web designers. The first is UX designer, and UX stands for user experience designer. And these are the people that answers the question of the efficiency of a website or web application, a software or mobile application, whatever the product is. These people ensure that the design of the interface allows the users to make use of the product effectively and efficiently. Now, the second type of designers we have the UI designer, which stands for user interface. And these are the people that create the graphics, the illustrations, and they use the photographic artwork and typography, all manner of styling, the colors, and every other thing that is necessary to make that website to be appealing. Now, I want us to note at this point that these are not people that design the actual website. These are kind of prototypes. Like we have the architects that design the building plan of a structure before an engineer will go to the site and then put what is in design into reality. So these are the people that we call web designers. All these works are done graphically. And then the third type of web designers we have are the visual designers. And they are the people that do the finishing touches on a website or web application. They ensure that the end product, the completed product, look attractive. If there are any need for adjustment, they ensure that all necessary corrections are being done. Now, moving forward, who is then a web developer? A web developer are those people that are called programmers. That is, this is a generic name for web developers. They are known as programmers, and they take the design created by the designers and turn it into a full functional website using different tools and different programming languages. So these are the developers. In other words, the programmers that bring into reality what the web designers had already designed. Like I made reference to architects. When an architect finishes designing, then an engineer has to take the design, go to a site, and bring that design to become a house, all right? Now, web developers are also of different types. We have the front-end developers. These are the people that develop the client side of the website or web application. And the client side simply means the things that the users of that website are seeing. They implement all form of styling. Now, when we're talking about designers, the UI UX designers, we say that they take care of the aesthetics. That is in graphic form, not in a real website. When they do, I'm going to show us an example of all this. So when a web designer, a UI UX designer designs the prototype, or in other words, we call it the wireframe of a website, they will hand it over to the developers who takes the design and make sure that they give the exact styling that was given by the designer. So that is the work of a front-end developer who takes charge of what the visitors of a website or application are seeing. They are the ones also that upload content and make sure that the content fit in very well for people to see clearly. And the languages used for front end include the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, it's not limited to these because there are libraries and frameworks that are included, but we're going to put it to these 3 languages or web technologies. Then if eventually we talk about it, then we can explore other languages. The second type of web developers, we have the back-end developers. And these are the people that develop the server side of the website application. Let's just take this server side to mean behind the scene or behind the camera. All right. In front of the camera is the front end, what web visitors see. Behind the camera are so many things that control what is being seen or what is obtainable in the front end. And then these are the people that ensure that the front end works very well. All right, let's take, for instance, there is an application, let's say a mobile, a bank mobile app. And when you want to register or you're logging in, you will see that there are forms where you put in your maybe account number, your password, your ID, whatever it is. And then after inputting all those things, you press a button that will lead you to another page. So all those interactivity or the interaction that you enjoy while using the mobile app is the work of a back-end developer. He ensures that all those buttons you are clicking on or pressing are responding the way they should. These back-end developers are also responsible for creating APIs, libraries, and so many other things that we're going to talk about later. And then we have so many languages that can be used for back-end development, depending on the kind of project. We have the PHP, ASP.NET, Python, JavaScript, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, the third type of web developers is the one known as full stack. Full stack is like a hybrid developer, a combination of front-end development and then back-end development. So a full stack developer is someone who can develop a full functional website single-handedly. So he does the work of the aesthetics and also he does the work of the server side. Like I've said, someone who can create a full dynamic functional website is a full stack developer. And they can work on the front end, back end, database. They can do debugging of websites and applications. So Someone who is a full stack developer is a robust web developer. Now, if you are talking about web development, you can approach it in two ways. All right. I'm saying all this because, when it comes to web development as a career or a profession, it is more encouraging that you learn a little and then you try to make ends meet out of the little skill you have while increasing in learning. So you can approach it with a drag and drop method, or you use a hand-coded method. So if you want to start very fast and maybe see what you are designing or developing very quickly, you can use what we call what you see is what you get method. And this requires the use of a CMS, which is content management system like WordPress. We have Joomla, we have Mobilize, we have a lot of them. We have WYSIWYG, and there are so many of them out there that within 30 minutes, you can use it and set up a website, and that website will be up and running. Now, the second approach to it, which is the most recommended and the skill that is highly sought for in the tech industry, is the hand-coded method. This second approach, you have to write the code yourself. You have to actually write the code from scratch using the web technologies and the programming languages. You have to do it yourself. So at the end of this presentation, we're now going to come back to this to decide, okay, which one should we go in for? And then if I have any advice, and we can hear from any other person as regards to this. Moving forward, the second thing we need to talk about is setting up working environment for website design and development. At this point, we have known the differences between a web designer and a web developer and the approach to any category of this profession. So you have three categories or three groups under each of them. But then I'm going to give room for discussion later on. So under setting up working environment for web design and development, this simply has to do with the kind of tools we need to get started. If you want to be a web designer, if you want to be a web developer, there are tools that we need to get started. And I think I highlighted some of them here. Okay. Now, if you want to be a web developer, you need 4 things here that are highly recommended. The first is the code editor. The code editor is where you write the actual code. And here I gave some examples like VS Code, Sublime Text, Notepad++, PyCharm, Atom, and so on and so forth. After that, you need a cross-platform web server like XAMPP. XAMPP would help our programs to run offline. So you'll be able to view it on a web browser as if you are running it on the internet. So thirdly, we need a content management system like a WordPress. And then I recommend Google Chrome Internet Browser. Why? Because it has some developer tools that are very, very rich. In fact, a must-have tool for anyone who wants to go into web development. Now, if you, on the other hand, want to go into web designing, maybe the designing of the mockup and designing aspect of the website, you will need tools. I think I didn't highlight it here. You will need softwares. The one that I know is, what do they call it? Figma. Figma is a good tool. You can also use Adobe products. Yes, these are examples of software that you can use to set up your working environment as a web designer. The last part of this presentation has to do with the area of focus in website design and development. This area of focus, the only thing I have to say here is, from all that have been said, you need now to choose where you want to face, because a lot of people, while trying to start up learning web development, they get confused because they will keep on learning so many and so many things. At the end of the day, they don't know whether they are going to become a front end, a back end, a full stack, or just a designer. So they get confused. I actually had that problem. I also had that problem, but now I think I understand better. And it's better from beginning, you have a focus. Now, you can choose your area of interest as a web designer, whether you want to be a UI UX designer or you want to be a visual designer. So you choose one out of the two, or you can choose the two if you want. Now, as a web developer, you choose whether you want to be a front-end developer, a back-end developer, or a full stack developer. These are the three categories that we have under web development. By the time you make your choice, then you'll be set for learning and for practicing and for marketing yourself as either a developer or a designer. All right, so I think this is the first part of the presentation this evening. If you have any observation, question, I want to get input before we go on to the next thing. Thank you for listening.